And so now he's in a different situation where he's in Cleveland, and he doesn't even have to be that guy every single night. Three-time All-Star guard Donovan Mitchell is gone from Utah, though there was a tremendous amount of time spent on his possible landing spot being the Knicks. It turns out to be the Cleveland Cavaliers. They give up Markkanen, Agbaji, and Colin Sexton, 3 unprotected first-round picks, and 2 pick swaps for Donovan Mitchell. With that, Colin Sexton agreed to a 4-year, $72 million sign-and-trade deal with the Jazz. All right, Kevin, so we now have had a tremendous amount of time to have other people comment on this and process this. When the trade came down the line, what was your instant reaction? And then has that changed at all after thinking about it more?
Well, I had just gotten out of the California Science Center with my mom. We were watching the IMAX movie there, and I checked my phone, which was, on silence, and I'm like, whoa! Could not have expected Cleveland, Chris, to actually end up with Donovan Mitchell after everything. Like you said, I mean, we were talking about New York, and, maybe Charlotte, maybe this team, maybe that team, but not so much Cleveland. So my first thought was like, wait a minute, we're not going into the exhibit yet. I need to send out some text and organize my thoughts. So my thoughts haven't really changed a lot since then. I guess, the first thought is from the Cleveland perspective. An aggressive move here. To me, this is a big bet on Evan Mobley, what Cleveland's doing here. You pair up Donovan Mitchell with Darius Garland. You have the makings of a dynamic backcourt duo. You could compare them in some ways to Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, and the fact that you have 2 smaller guards that are excellent shot creators. The difference between the Portland iterations of that team construct and what now Cleveland has is the fact you have Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, Isaac Okoro, a large number of great defensive players, particularly Mobley and Allen. So they have support on defense. They have the offensive shot creators. Now it's about, can Donovan Mitchell step it up on defense like we talked about last week? Can he elevate his play to be more like he was in college? And can Evan Mobley, can he take a leap on the offensive end of the floor and provide the offensive shot creation from the front court position that Cleveland is going to need to go from really, really good young team in the Eastern Conference that has definitely potentially surpassed some of these other young squads, maybe Atlanta. It's going to come down to Evan Mobley and his development for the Cavaliers to take a leap to becoming a true finals contender.
I love this Cleveland team now. I mean, absolutely love them. It's so fascinating that you bring up the Portland thing because I think it's fair to look at that and say, this is really what could have changed everything for Portland. They never flanked those guys with rim protection, with rebounding in the way that is needed to win at the highest level. Now, we will see, right, when you're talking about Mobley and Allen, if they are. To win when it matters most are those guys that you can. And I tend to believe yes, right? I mean, I remember during the playoffs last year tweeting out, boy, if I could buy stock in Cleveland, this Garland-Mobley thing, you want to talk about something you would want for the next 10 years. Good grief. I mean, they nailed both of those picks. Both these guys are going to be big stars in the league. And now they cannot be the best player, the go-to guy. They don't have to be, right? We always talk about there's a timeline for all of this stuff. And typically what we found is that teams that win the title, at minimum, their best player, Giannis was kind of an exception. Remember, we talked about being 27, 28, 29. All these guys throughout history, whether it's Jordan or LeBron or Curry or you name it. So many of them are older, veterans in the league. That's the guy on the team. Well, that's a long ways off for both Mobley and Mitchell. But it's not a long ways off, for Mobley and Garland. It's not a long ways off for Mitchell. And, I understand that they have had their flameouts, in Utah, but I thought it was very fascinating to see when they had made this deal. And I think you and I get to come by this honest because we're both still huge Mitchell fans and thought he was an outstanding piece that somebody was going to be able to attain. I think you and I are higher on Mitchell than the general consensus. A lot of people have soured on him in a way that has been a bit surprising to me because if you go through career playoff scoring, these are the players with higher career playoff points per game than Donovan Mitchell. Michael Jordan, Luka Doncic, Allen Iverson, Kevin Durant, Jerry West, LeBron James. That's the list. He is 7th. And it's not like he's only played in one series. He is 7th in NBA history right now for playoff career points per game. Jordan, Doncic, Iverson, Durant, West, James. And what we always ask for is show up when it matters most. And this guy has proven to be able to be a playoff performer. All right. And so now he's in a different situation where he's in Cleveland and he doesn't even have to be that guy every single night.
Sometimes it's going to be Garland, Chris.
Sometimes it was CJ.
Yeah.
There's always the great Lillard moments, but CJ McCollum is the one that put away Denver on the road, and had the epic performance.
What they didn't have in Portland was a potential Mobley.
Yeah. And then they've got, I love JB, and players typically love him. And so I always kind of root for him anyway. And they got good, solid veterans that he got to buy in. They brought Rubio back, who, when Rubio went down last year, it really hurt them badly. They kept searching after that. They bring Kevin Love back, who is either an outstanding bench piece to have that helps stretch the floor or an amazing trade piece because of where his contract stands now in relation to the league. And so I love the way they are set up and where they're set up going forward. I think this is a huge swing at something special and certainly one that I think is going to work out very, very well for them. I think Cleveland's going to be competing for home court advantage this year.